When did a helpful stranger turn out to be your worst nightmare? The tide hissed against the sand like it was warning me to leave. But I didn't listen. I never do. My flip-flops were half buried in the wet grit of Ocean Beach, San Francisco, and the fog was rolling in so thick, I could barely see the pier lights blinking red and green in the distance. It was late September, the kind of evening where the air smells like salt and weed and somebody's bonfire gone wrong. I'd come out here to think, or maybe to not think. My phone was dead. My wallet was lighter than it should have been after 3 overpriced IPAs at the bar on Taraval. And the last Muni train had ghosted me 20 minutes ago. I was kicking at a clump of seaweed when I heard the voice behind me. Lost. I turned. He looked like he belonged on a surfboard atoll, sun-bleached curls. Faded black tank top clinging to shoulders that had seen more push-ups than I'd seen in my entire gym membership. His smile was easy. The kind that makes you forget you're alone on a dark beach with a stranger. Sort of, I said. Phone's dead. Missed the train. Trying to figure out if I walk or splurge on an Uber I can't afford. He laughed, low and warm. I'm parked up on the Great Highway. Happy to give you a lift wherever. Name's Kai. I hesitated. Mom's voice in my head. Don't get in cars with strangers, Maya. But the fog was thickening, the wind was picking up, and the idea of trudging 3 miles in sandals sounded like torture. You sure? I asked. Positive. I was just heading out anyway. His Jeep was an old Wrangler, top down even though the air had teeth. The seat smelled like coconut wax and salt. He tossed my dead phone into a cup holder already crowded with empty LaCroix cans and a half-eaten burrito wrapped in foil. Charge cables in the glove box, he said, starting the engine. It growled to life like it was happy to see me. I plugged in. The screen flickered, then bloomed with missed texts from my roommate, Leah. Where are you? Hello? Maya, answer me. I typed back a quick I'm fine. Getting a ride, but the signal was crap. 1 bar. It sent. Maybe. Kai glanced over. So where to? Mission, Sunset, Richmond District, 32nd and Clement. He nodded, pulled onto the highway. The fog swallowed the headlights of the cars behind us. We drove in silence for a minute, just the hum of tires and the occasional thump of bass from a passing lowrider. You come out here a lot? He asked. First time in months. Needed air that didn't smell like my ex's cologne. He laughed again. Rough breakup. Rough everything. Job's a dead end, rent's a joke. And apparently, I attract guys who think emotional availability is a yoga pose. Sounds like you could use a better night. I shrugged. Got any suggestions? He grinned, took a turn I didn't recognize. Ever been to the tide pools at low tide? There's a spot past Fort Fun. Bioluminescence is wild this time of year. Like the ocean's got its own disco. I checked my phone. 11:47 p.m. Leah would be asleep. Work wasn't until noon tomorrow. And something about the way Kai said it like it was a secret just for us mate. My skin buzz? Show me, I said. We parked in a dirt turnout where the cliffs dropped straight into the Pacific. The moon was a sliver, useless. Kai pulled 2 headlamps from the back, handed me one. The beam cut through the dark like a light. Watch your step, he said. Rocks are slick. We scrambled down a path that wasn't really a path, more a suggestion. The ocean roared below, hungry. When we hit the sand, the tide had pulled way out, exposing jagged reefs and pools that glowed faint electric blue every time a wave crashed. Holy shit, I whispered. Told you. He crouched by a pool, dipped his fingers. The water lit up around them, sparks dancing. Tiny algae. Stress them out, they glow. I knelt beside him. My reflection in the pool looked like a stranger eyes wide, hair wild from the wind. For the first time in weeks, I wasn't thinking about overdue bills or the email I still hadn't sent my boss. We stayed there until my knees ached, watching the light show. Kai told me he was a photographer, mostly freelance, chasing swells and sunsets up and down the coast. No girlfriend, no leash. Lived in his Jeep half the time. The other half, a studio in the outer sunset with a dark room and a futon. Sounds lonely, I said. Better than crowded, he replied. Eventually, the tide started creeping back. Kai checked his watch. We should head up before we're swimming. The climb was harder going up. My legs burned. Halfway, I slipped, scraped my palm on barnacles. Kai caught my elbow. You okay? Yeah, just clumsy. He didn't let go until we were back at the Jeep. My hand tingled. Where he'd touched it. He drove me home after that, slow, like he didn't want the night to end. When he pulled up to my building appealing, Victorian with a busted gate, I unplugged my phone. Fully charged. Leah had texted again. Glad you're alive. Lock the door. Thanks, I said. Seriously. You saved me. Anytime, Maya. He knew my name. I hadn't told him, had I? I hesitated, then asked, You free tomorrow night? His smile was slow. I am now. We met the next evening at the beach chalet. Split a pitcher of something citrusy. Watched the sunset bleed orange across the water. He kissed me under the murals, tasting like lime and salt. I invited him up. Leah was at her girlfriend's. We didn't sleep. The weeks blurred. Kai became a fixture, showing up with burritos after my shift at the bookstore, texting me photos of secret beaches, teaching me to read the surf report like it was poetry. He never asked about my ex, never pushed for labels. Just showed up, solid and warm and uncomplicated. I told Leah everything. She raised an eyebrow. He lives in his car, Maya. Jeep, and he has a studio. Hung. Just be careful. I rolled my eyes. Careful was for people who hadn't found someone who looked at them like the tide looked at the moon. October slid into November. The fog got thicker, the days shorter. Kai started staying over more. His camera gear took over my desk. His wetsuit hung in my shower. I found myself buying his brand of coffee, the expensive organic kind. One night, we were sprawled on my couch watching surf videos when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I ignored it. It buzzed again. Kai glanced over. Popular girl. Probably spam. But it kept going. 5 times? 10. I finally answered. Maya Patel. Female voice, clipped. This is Detective Ramirez, SFPD. We need to speak with you about Kai Brennan. My stomach dropped. What's this about? Is he with you now? I looked at Kai. He was staring at the TV, but his jaw was tight. Yeah, I said slowly. Don't let him leave. We're on our way. The line went dead. Kai turned. Everything okay? I set the phone down. That was the police. They're coming here. For you? His face didn't change, but something behind his eyes shifted. Like a light going out. Maya, he said softly, there's something I need to tell you. The knock came before he could. 3 cops, badges, guns. They pushed past me. Cuffed Kai while he stood perfectly still, hands already behind his back like he'd practiced. What the hell is going on? I demanded. Ramirez, a woman with tired eyes and a ponytail, handed me a photo. A girl, early 20s, brunette, smiling in a way that hurt to look at. Recognize her? She asked. I shook my head. Name's Sophie Alvarez. Missing since July. Last seen with your boyfriend at Ocean Beach. Kai wouldn't look at me. They took him. I stood in the doorway until the cruiser disappeared. Red lights swallowed by fog. Leah came home an hour later. Found me on the floor surrounded by Kai's camera, batteries and a half-empty bottle of meth. Jesus, Maya. I couldn't speak. The next days were a blur of questions. Detectives in my living room. My photo in the Chronicle. Sophie's parents on the news, begging. They found her body 3 weeks later. Tangled in kelp off Muscle Rock. Cause of death, drowning. But the bruises around her wrists told a different story. Kai lawyered up. Wouldn't talk. But his Jeep searched with a warrant turned up a memory card, videos, dozens of them. Girls on beaches, laughing, trusting. The last clip was Sophie. Time-stamped the night she vanished. She was smiling at the camera, saying, "This is the best night of my life." Then the screen went black. I stopped sleeping. Every creak in the apartment was him. Every shadow, his silhouette. I quit the bookstore, moved out of the Richmond, crashed on Leah's cousin's couch in Oakland. But he was still everywhere. On the news, in my dreams, in the way the ocean sounded when I closed my eyes. They charged him with murder. The DA said there were others. Bodies never found. Girls who'd met a charming surfer on a foggy beach and vanished. I testified at the preliminary hearing, sat 10 feet from him. He looked smaller in the orange jumpsuit. When our eyes met, he smiled the same easy smile from that first night. I threw up in the courthouse bathroom. The trial starts next month. I'm on the witness list. They say I'm lucky. That I got out before. Before what? Before the tide took me to... I don't go to the beach anymore. I can't. The sound of waves is his voice now, calling me back. Promising magic. Delivering darkness. Sometimes, late at night, I scroll through the photos still on my phone. Us at the tide pools. His arm around me. My smile so wide it hurts. I delete them one by one, but the glow stays. Electric blue. Impossible to unsee. And somewhere out there, the ocean keeps its secrets. Sparkling for the next girl who believes a stranger's light is salvation.